From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate. Statistics Canada is set to release its gross domestic product report for the second quarter this morning. The expectations suggest the country's economy grew at an annualized rate of 1.4%, below the agency's prediction of 2%. RBC expects that the document to show the economy is continuing to weaken on a per capita basis, given strong population growth. Economists are widely expecting the Bank of Canada will lower its policy rate next Wednesday by 0.25 percentage point to 4.25%. Meanwhile, inflation in the 20 European Union countries that use the euro fell sharply in August, down to 2.2%. According to the EU's statistics agency, Eurostat, the figure was down from 2.6% in July. The monthly figure is now close to the European Central Bank's target at 2%, the level considered best for the economy. Economists are expecting the central bank to cut its key interest rate by 0.25 point from 3.75% at its September 12th meeting. Back home again, where workers' rights are in the spotlight following a high-profile labor dispute. Last week, some 9,300 rail workers walked off the job after contract talks with Canadian National Railway and Canadian Pacific Kansas City fell apart. Now that triggered a back-to-work order from Ottawa, including binding arbitration, as fears of a supply chain breakdown grew. University of British Columbia law professor Margot Young says the decision undermines employees' collective bargaining rights and reduces a company's incentive to negotiate in good faith. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says the decision to step in was made reluctantly and out of necessity. Universities Canada says enrollment by students from outside the country is falling, dropping below the cap that the federal government set on international student visas earlier this year. President Gabriel Miller says the government-mandated cap, which was announced in January, is having a bigger effect than predicted, and that will have a major financial impact on schools. The immigration minister made the move to quell the rapid increase in the number of international students, citing pressure on housing, healthcare, and other services. And finally, an orangutan at the Toronto Zoo got a brief taste of freedom.
The zoo says the orangutan briefly accessed an area just outside of his habitat Thursday evening. It says staff were able to clear guests from the area quickly and that the primate was taken back to his habitat without incident. Police were called as a precaution but kept on standby in a parking lot. The outdoor orangutan habitat will be closed to guests and media during the investigation, but zoo officials ask anyone who was at the habitat on Thursday to come forward if they have video footage. Jason White, The Canadian Press, Toronto.
This is the Canadian Press. In sports, Bowden Francis took a no-hitter into the sixth inning, leaving the game in the seventh after allowing just one hit, as the Toronto Blue Jays beat the Boston Red Sox 2-0. Now the no-hit bid came to an end with one out in the sixth when Nick Sogard blooped a soft single to center. Meanwhile, Philadelphia padded their lead in the National League East with a 5-4 win over Atlanta. The Phillies hold a 6-game lead over the Braves for the division crown, with 3 games left in the series. Montreal qualifier Gabriel Diallo upset 24th-seeded Arthur Fils of France in the second round of the U.S. Open Tennis Grand Slam tournament, and doing so in 4 straight sets. And finally, Richmond Hill, Ontario's Taylor Pendrith was among 5 competitors to shoot 66 in Thursday's opening round of the PGA's Tour Championship. Scotty Scheffler started the golf tournament with a 2-shot lead and had the best opening of the day with a 65. From the Canadian Press, I'm Rob Westgate.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.